Say,
Yeah.
if you had the preference,
Yes.
you would like full control over your wife.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say that statement?
Well, I think that full control really was just in. Basically, I was embodying the simple fact that I know exactly what she can do or what she would do in every single situation. In a sense where there's no need for me to ever have to wonder what she is doing, what she would do, and what she's capable of. Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I
understand the words you're saying.
You're essentially saying you don't want your girl to have free will.
I didn't say I don't want. I said if I had the
You prefer
for her not to have it.
Yeah, but by prefer doesn't mean I'm seeking.
Yes, the fuck it does, Rico. That's literally what the fuck that means.
Ladies, the number one way that men who love control get to you, and I know it's so true because, you know, I hear women crying and complain all the time, oh my God, he used to be such a good guy. No, he wasn't such a good guy. He knew how to play the character in order to control you. And how do they control you? Emotional manipulation. You don't control a woman with money, looks, all that. You control a woman through her emotions, okay? There's various ways, whether it's intercourse, because your body will release a lot of oxytocin when you sleep with a woman. That's a number one way. Another way is, these guys learn and understand is this. Most women have an inflated ego. Most women like hearing lies. So what do? They use that against you. They always agree with you. They become the guy that you talk about because you guys just yap your mouths all the time, all right? Another thing that they use is your emotional vulnerability, you know, always being there for you when you really need it, to the point that you become closer and closer and closer. And once they understand they got you, that's when they switch. Come on.
I mean, I don't understand. I'm lost on this weaponizing submission. Like, what does he get? What is he getting a woman to submit to in a way where it becomes harmful to her? Because I would argue that a woman who's submitting to her man is showcasing that the man can lead. Granted, he's able to articulate why she should take up his position. I think I was hearing everybody talk about something sort of like that when I came in. I think where the disconnect is uh, the man who wants to be a leader and wants the woman to follow him. Is he able to articulate why? You know what I'm saying? To give her ease of mind and comfort on following him. I think a lot of men in these days, we should be able to agree that a lot of men lack the ability to showcase those leadership skills in a way that a woman can feel comfortable following them. So I can understand the women on that part, but if the man is able to articulate himself and show you that, hey, look, this is why you should take my position. This is why you shouldn't question me because I got it. I figured it out. The only thing I can say to that is the woman is probably unimpressionable. She come from the covering of another man, the influence of another man, and she's trying to get you to measure up to what she had or what she understands, and she's unimpressionable. So it's kind of hard to rinse her of those old terms and conditions that she done got used to. That's the only reason why I would think a woman would constantly be combative with you. But if you're able to let her know, look, this is what. But if you a man that's coming into the situation and like, hey, look, it's gonna be X, Y, Z, and that's it. Don't question me. You got to kind of see how that can be unfair to a woman coming in. You know what I'm saying? So I would argue that a woman is justified to kind of try to get the context behind what's going on. You know, just for the sake of having the ease of mind and following you. I don't think that's too much. So I don't know where they're saying submission is or is harmful to the woman unless this man is leading her in a way where it's destructive or it's causing harm to her and her children. And the best interest of the relationship is not being displayed. So if anybody had any actual examples of some of the stuff that's harmful to a woman when she submits to a man, maybe we could kind of try to peel back the layers to figure out what is the actual catalyst for that.
We can.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ty first, DJ. I know Marcus want to say something.
I agree with everything that Darwin said, but I think this is like the difference of Darwin and the gentleman from the video, the initial gentleman that said that he wishes that he could take away his woman's free will, right? And she has no choice in anything. And that's where the weaponizing of submission comes in. An example, right? And I might not know everything about them, but the first thing that pops in my head is like Bobby and Whitney, right? Whitney became submissive to this man and let him lead her down a path of destruction. She went from someone who was an amazing singer, and of course, maybe she had her own role to play in that. Once again, don't know them personally, but from our outside looking in, this was a man that she loved dearly. She followed him wherever he went, and he drove her right to drugs. There are a lot of situations in our community where women have submitted to men, or like back in the day, they had no choice but to submit to a man. And dependent on that man, they could lead them down a road that they couldn't recover from, ending up on drugs, being single mothers. One of the people in the comments said that Black women have been leading the Black community for the last 3 generations, and that's why we're so messed up now. But let's really dive into that. The reason we've been leading the Black generation for the last 3 generations is because we have no other choice, right? A lot of women don't have men that are leaders or want to be leaders, or know what it takes to actually lead and be able to make a woman feel comfortable enough in order to allow that man to lead or lead her in any direction. We see from their own lifestyles that you're not able to do something a certain way. You're not able to even take care of yourself. So why would I allow you to guide me? Okay. But I'm getting off on a tangent a little bit there. But I just really feel like the weaponizing of the submission really comes down to when a woman is really trying to submit to her man, and he takes advantage of it by not allowing her to have a voice at all, by not allowing her to have any direction or any input in their lives, in the structure of their household, or where their future is going.
That's interesting because you would also have to look at this man, the man who said they want to have total control over their woman. It's not even a matter of submission at that point, because submission is more like, hey, I'm doing this at my own will. I'm doing this voluntarily. So you would have to question his beliefs, like his tradition, like where does he get his principles from? And it can't be biblical. If a man is sitting there saying he want to have total control over a woman, even God, when we submit to God, he gives us our own free will to choose to submit to him. So I would argue men who talk like that don't even worship. They probably don't align with your religion. Now, and if you don't, then that's you. Then that's a conversation you got to have, because it's a lot of men and women deviating from the tradition and what God, bestowed upon us. So I would say me personally, any talk like that is to me is evil and demonic. And I would flee away from that kind of conversation. If somebody wanted to have total control over you, even God don't even desire to have total control over us. So for a human being to say that, it's almost like elevating himself above God. And we know the story about men or even superficial beings elevating themselves above God, being cast down. So that's a good point you made, Ty.
And I think it's due to these insecurities. That's when it gets toxic. Like, submit to me and I want you to do this because it makes me feel better. And there's no clear explanation behind it. That's when I think the submission gets toxic. The other day, I just came to a conclusion on the podcast where I was too exposing on my Instagram, and I never understood the meaning behind it, because every time a man said it, he was like, oh, because it makes me feel like this, it makes me feel like this. But I'm like, I need a more logical like reason for me. Like, why is this bad? Because you are upset about how your peers are going to judge you. I don't care about what your peers think, because they're not even up there with you anyway. But when they explained it to me, like, oh, well, for your benefit, if you're trying to court a husband, the quality man you attract is going to be based on how you dress. Now that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? How you deliver to me. But then when men say, I don't want you, or for instance, I want to go out with my homegirls. I'm married and I've proven myself to be faithful. We've been together for years. You know what I'm saying? But when I decide to go out, you tell me, I don't want you to go because I think you're going to do this. And it's like, what does my character say? What have I shown you? What is my history with this? Don't put on me what you've been through in the past. Or like for instance, if I come in asking you questions like, oh, so you don't think I could do that? No, let's take a step back and don't put your insecurities on me. How did I ask you the question? What tone did I say it in? What were the words that I used? And sometimes I used to have to do this with guys when I had an opinion about something. And I would say, oh, I need you to do this for me. And they'd be like, oh, so you saying I can't do that? And it's like, no, let's take a step back. I already know how women be, so I'm not gonna take that offensive that you just snapped because I just want to show you I'm not her. So let's go back to the psychology of it. What tone did I say it in? And yeah, so forth. But when men starts to, just be like, oh, do this to fix my insecurity, it's like I don't like that. And I don't feel like men should do it for women either, because I know men tend to do that. Oh well, I'm not gonna say anything because I'm scared that, I'm not gonna like if a woman say, I don't want you to do this, I don't want you to go out with the guys tonight because I think you might do something from the past. And it's like, nah, we've been married. In a marriage, I haven't cheated. I could chill with my homeboys for an extra hour. Like, take me at face value. Don't make me suffer because of your insecurities. Let's heal together. That's how I feel. I don't feel like you should make decisions based on your insecurity.